Okay, so we're doing a 15-minute core workout. You can do as a follow along with me with no equipment. We'll start off with a brief warm-up as usual. We're going to do 3 movements for this. We'll do 40 seconds each, linking one straight into the other, so there'll be no gaps. We'll do it for 1 round, and then we'll get into the main bulk of the core workout. So let's get a 10-second countdown going. We're going to start off nice and simple with some upward dog to downward dog transitions. So hovering hips, engage the glute into this upward dog, then hips high, shooting through into the downward dog, lengthen that tailbone up to the sky, bringing it round, engage the glutes, let the hips and abs stretch out. Hips high. I like to soften the knees with the downward dog, especially if you're a little bit tight. Head between the arms, open out those armpits. I'll try and not breathe or talk directly into the mic when I'm doing these core exercises. I don't have the luxury of muting it live. Okay, bird dog, alternating arm, alternating leg, lift up. Now try and keep the belly button drawn up towards the lower back. Try and bring the bicep up so it's level with the ear. Reach the heel. A bird dog's really easy to do badly, but quite hard to do well. It's an anti-rotation exercise as well. As I said, for anyone new, play your own music today. I'll be giving you technique tips. You can drown out some of my breathing by playing your own tunes. Okay, lying on your back, one of my favorites. We're doing some wipers. Knees up, 90-degree angle, side to side drops. Let's keep the opposite shoulder blade. So if you're dropping down to the right, the back of your left shoulder should stay in contact with the floor. If you're dropping all the way to the floor, you've probably gone a bit too far. So about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way down is enough. This is a good lower back release, getting the core slightly engaged to start as well. All right, okay, we're going to get into the main workout. We're going to do 6 exercises. We're doing 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds off, which is pretty classic for my workouts. We're going to do 2 rounds in total, so not too many. We're going to start off with a jackknife crunch. Now with the jackknife crunch, this is different to a V-up. So we're going to keep the lower back on the floor, and we're not going to come all the way up onto the tailbone, but we are going to reach. So we're going to reach up towards the shoelaces, opening out. So it's like a leg raise mixed with a reaching crunch. The difference from a V-up is we're not throwing it up onto the tailbone. We're going to keep the base of the lower back in contact with the floor. We're reaching the upper back off. I find this is easier on the lower back than V-ups and actually more effective for the core. Only go as low down as you can go without an overarch happening in the back, so you're not losing that lower back contact. All right, next up we've got compressions, so quite a classic calisthenics one. Now you can go alternating legs if you struggle, or if you can do double, that'd be great, but I want you to posture upright, fingertips on the floor, arms straight. You can push off your fingertips. We're going to try and keep the body still and lift the legs off the floor. So lifting the legs, hold, and down. Lifting the legs, hold, and down. As I said, you can go for these alternating lifts like this, but we're going to try and avoid leaning the body backwards. It's surprisingly difficult. You might feel like your heels are just glued to the floor, especially when you try those doubles. But this hip flexor strength is really important, and usually you'll find that people are pretty weak with it. You might feel your quads, but one of your quads is a hip flexor, so it causes hip flexion. Hip flexor is not a muscle, it's a group of muscles. Okay, let's flip it over. We're going to do a bit of lower back, a little bit of upper back and shoulder extension. We're doing a flying Superman. So it's a lower back extension, hands back like we're flying, and we're going to lift the little fingers up towards the floor. Squeeze your glutes at the top of each rep. So lift up, hold, and then lower back down. So we're getting the lower back, tense the glutes together. Imagine you try and touch the ceiling with the little fingers, working on that shoulder extension backwards. Great job. Okay, next, lie on your back. You've got two options: straight leg dead bug with me, or if you want an easier option, you're going to go with a classic 90-degree leg dead bug. So you're going to go opposite arm to opposite leg drop. Head can stay on the floor for this. So the hard option is going straight leg, head stays on the floor, lower back stays pressed. The easier option is going to be similar but 90-degree bend to start at the knee. The whole point of this is not to do lots of drops. It's to brace the core to avoid an overarch in the lower back as you increase the difficulty by dropping the leg. So it's about a good brace of the core under a controlled drop, not about doing lots of reps. Okay, hitting the posterior chain again, that means up the back of your body, so anything from your heels to your upper back. We're going to go for a reverse plank hold. I find this really tough because I've got tight shoulders, but that's why we should not skip it. We're going to lift the hips as high as we can and hold this high top position. You'll notice that in a core workout, you shouldn't just work your abs. Your core means anything surrounding or supporting your trunk, your torso, and I'd even include probably some glutes in your core because they really support your lower back function as well. But let's try and open out that chest, pull the shoulder blades back, feel that bicep and shoulder stretch whilst maintaining as high hip position as you can manage. We're trying to open out those hip flexors, strengthen up those glutes as well. Okay, our sixth exercise is going to be a hollow hold. Now, if you can't do a hollow, you can do a half or a tuck hollow, but they're all going to start in the same position. Hug your knees to your chest. Your head is going to be off the floor for the hollow hold. We're going to open out, keeping the lower back in contact with the floor, holding this position. Now, if this is too advanced and you can't avoid the arch, try bringing one knee into the chest like this. And if that's still too advanced and you can't stop the arch, bring your hands reaching past the pockets. You can switch legs if you like as well, like this. It's going to be a bit easy. So we're bracing the core, avoiding an arch, going for whatever difficulty level suits you. Okay, one round down, one to go. Let's check, are we still live? Yeah, a little red dot. Hopefully we're still running. So we're going to run through those exercises just one more time so you've had some practice. So next time, if you're struggling to get the technique, you should be able to go into it a little bit quicker. Just want to tell you about something coming up. I've started filming and we're well underway with editing the Calisthenics 3.0 series. So the third Calisthenics series will be out in April. 30 to 20 minute workouts. But let's get started with this jackknife crunch. So it's a mix of a leg raise and a reaching crunch. Reaching your hands up towards the tongue of your shoe or shoelaces. Don't worry if you can't touch, you just get as close as you can. And then open out as much as you can without an arch in the lower back. If you need to, you can bend the knees a little bit more and just don't open out as far. So your crunch might look like this, and that's fine. If you can come all the way here without the overarch, that's good. Generally, if you can do an open hollow hold, you should be okay with an open jackknife position. Surprisingly difficult to talk whilst bracing your core. Okay, we've got these compressions, the sneakily difficult exercise, either doing double leg lifts or alternating lifts where you can leave one leg on the floor. We're going to try and compress this space between the quads and your chest. So lifting up, hold for a moment, back down, trying to avoid the temptation to lean back. We're working on this compression strength, which is key for being good at calisthenics. If you want to be able to do an L-sit or a Russian lever or even a strict toes to bar, ab strength alone is not going to be enough. You need this hip flexor strength as well. Remember, you can go for these alternating, which is still difficult. Okay, let's give the abs and hip flexors a rest while we flip over, work the lower back glutes, and work on a little bit of that shoulder extension mobility with the flying Supermans. So hands back, keep straight arms. You're going to lift the chest as high off the floor as you can. Imagine you're touching the ceiling with the little fingers. Okay, flipping onto the back, we've got the dead bugs, so either straight leg or 90-degree knee. Head can stay on the floor, gives your neck muscles a little rest. We're going to try and do opposites, so if it's left leg, it's going to be right arm and vice versa. You could come back into the middle, just re-brace your core, gives you a moment to think before you send the opposites down. Okay, back to a posterior chain one, where we're going to do that reverse plank. A lot of these are good for the mobility as well. Opening out the shoulders, opening out the hips. You might be able to hold a higher hip position than me, so feel free to get the hips even higher if you can. You should be working all the way up your hamstrings, your glutes, even the posture muscles of your lower back are pulling together as you open out that chest. Okay, on to our final one. This has gone fast. We're going to do a hollow hold, so you're either doing the full open hollow, arms and legs out, or you do a half hollow, which can be done split leg, arms above your head, or slightly easier by your side. So here's the full hollow like this, half hollow level 1, half hollow level 2, but easy would be like this. You can switch your legs if you want. It doesn't matter too much which knee's in. The core brace feels similar either way. And that's it. Let's see if we can jump back into that live chat feed. It was here somewhere. Here it is. Let's turn the volume off so I'm not repeating myself. Thanks so much for joining me though. I don't know if we had any connection issues. Couldn't see the screen the whole time. But let me know in the comments. Did we have any tech issues or did that run smoothly? Are you going to put your app on the Play Store? Okay, good question. I'm in the process of turning the TPT Studio from like a mobile-friendly members section of my website into an app. We've got the beta testing ready to go, but I don't want to launch an app with bugs. So I'll let you know once the app's fully ready. The TPT Studio is like a very mobile optimized section of my website of all my exclusive content that's not on YouTube. So that's still available. The videos run the same, just like they would on YouTube, but it's technically not an app. Although you can pin that to your home screen, and once it opens, you wouldn't know the difference between an app and that. But good question, we are gonna turn that into an app. Thanks, Chris Hunt, no tech issues, that's good. So if it ran smoothly, we can do this again. I'm happy to do it regularly.